fundamentally, there are really only two types of guys. No matter what ethnic background, religion, social class, zodiac, Myers-Briggs, all of it, none of that even fucking matters. That is all just extra. In terms of guys, there are only two types of guys in this world. There are guys that like Goku, and there are guys that like Vegeta. Fundamentally, this is all guys wired down to. I feel like most people gravitate towards the Gokus and the Supermans and the Bradys and the Jordans of the world. I mean, it's the obvious pick. You know, this is the easiest pick to root for. It's the easiest pick to associate with. Like, why wouldn't you want to root for the obvious hero of the story? You would be stupid to pick the losing team on purpose. But another thing about guys is we are stupid. And I don't know about y'all, but for my whole life, I feel like I've always gravitated towards the Vegeta situation of not just Dragon Ball Z, but for kind of just everything. Like, there's a whole thing of like wanting to be like Mike. But I just, especially after watching The Last Dance, I was just like, how do you guys not see the real cool guy in this story? Like, the only Mike I wanted to be like was this Mike, which is also another Vegeta pick, if you really think about it. Like, for Spider-Man, I thought, like, how did people not think that Venom was just a cooler version of that? Sasuke, Zuko, number 4, Allen Iverson, Randy Orton, a deep cut, but Red X from Teen Titans. This changed my whole personality as a kid. The commonality in this situation just kind of became the ethos of how I move in life. What all these picks have in common right here. The whole reason I even batched together this spread of people, things, is that they all kind of share this anti-hero idea. Just rooting for something that doesn't necessarily have a clear-cut path to victory, but rather the chaos and grit of an off-meta pick. Almost like picking something harder and cooler out of spite of it being the lesser valued pick. And when it comes to something as subjective as fashion, the psychology of leaning towards alternative picks your whole life will eventually have an effect on the way that you express yourself when you become comfortable enough to do so, which is inherently really good for personal style, I guess. In a weird way, I feel like the idea of being polarizing and expressing yourself is inherently kind of anti-hero in the scheme of things, if you really look at what a normal, fashionable outfit is. And with today's meta being fairly casual, neutral, and, you know, somewhat classic, we find one of the current anti-heroes to be very visually polarizing. And before I introduce our fashion Vegeta, I want to talk about today's sponsor, ScentBird. I take more pride in being complimented on the way I smell more than my clothes. And I'm telling you, 50% of the time when I say I like the fit, I realize I'm just saying because I know you really put effort into something. Not that I really like it, but I know that you tried. But if I say you smell good, why the f would I lie about that? That's not something that I would think about if I wasn't telling the truth. Damn, that's actually kind of crazy though. ScentBird is a monthly subscription service that lets you sample hundreds of designer fragrances without having to commit all that time and money into one bottle. And each scent will come in this vial, which is actually graded for about 120 sprays. And again, if we do the math real quick on this, if you have 120 sprays in this vial, and let's say you spray yourself maybe twice a day, that is 60 days per vial. And you will be surprised at how long 60 days actually is. So I've been trying out a spread as usual, just to mix things up. This first scent I have here is called Free Yourself by Tear. It's pretty sweet and floral. You know, I personally really like that scent profile, so I kind of always have one of those in my rotation as always. And the next one is Devour by English Laundry, a bolder, more rich one. I usually use for nighttime activities. It definitely sticks out in a room, so I use it as a social utility at parties. And the next one I've tried for the first time is this one called Suede Ode by Clean Reserve. You know, it's a good contrast for my daily as it's pretty dark and smoky. You know, it's just kind of good to try some new stuff every now and then as your palate changes over time. But again, everybody is different, so you can also take the quiz that they have on the website that will ask you questions based on your lifestyle, personality, and your taste, and will give you a scent profile based on your answers so that you can have a good place to start when wanting to sample your stuff. And make sure to use code FRUGAL5 at checkout to get 55% off your first month, making a 60-day vial about $7. You know, if you're gonna try anything, you might as well try it out now while it's 55% off. Everything is in the description. Thank you, ScentBird, for sponsoring today's video. People will not lie about you smelling good, but they will lie about your fit to your face. So the latest fashion character, right? this right here. The Hedi boy. I mean, it's not really a new character, you know, but it is someone that we wrote off a couple seasons ago, became a side character, gained some new lore, and now he's kind of part of the main plot again. It's like the main character's cooler older brother that got estranged for a couple seasons, but now he's back. Oh how is this gonna affect the plot now? Because there's just so many new characters involved, and also a lot of the new cast doesn't even know who the that is, and everyone hates that he's back, but it's really good for the plot. Okay, so for those of you that haven't watched since season 1, I'm gonna lore dump real quick. So this, right, this Hedi boy idea. There's also, dude, there's just no cool way to say that. Hedi boy, like that is just, I'm just not gonna say it anymore. So this guy, right, taken from the design avatar of Hedi Slimane at his tenure at Dior and Saint Laurent, is characterized by unrealistically slim proportions and a gritty yet chic aesthetic grounded in denim and leather. Fundamental pieces being skinny jeans, leather jackets, Chelsea boots, and a 800 calorie diet. Okay, maybe I'm just picking at low-hanging fruit. Maybe I'm washed. But isn't it kind of ironic that his name is Hedi Slimane and his canvas is a slim man? This is like the fashion version of like naming the fastest dude in the world Usain Bolt or Lonzo Ball. Like, there's no way I'm the first guy to think of that. But in the past year, this aesthetic has seen a meteoric reprise in the most insufferable way. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I am a bit late in covering this. But the anti-hero bit is just a really good entry. I will say I've always been kind of fond of this aesthetic, as it's kind of the first polarizing pocket of fashion that I ever got invested into, actually. Not that I ever had the frame for this, right? Not that most people do, but we will get into that. Main thing I want to talk about is the timing of this specific pocket of fashion's comeback. Like, what about today's meta prompts the renaissance of the Hedi boy idea, becoming the anti-hero? Okay, if we look at today's spread and like what the common tropes are, you can see a lot of it leans very casual and sporty and even, you know, in a way kind of colorful in a sense. It's all pretty playful with a lot of room to be extra. Like, maximalism is almost encouraged, but also staying neutral within this just also plays out well. And so when you take all these favorable features and find the edgier, darker, kind of inverse of this, we find this idea of the fashion anti-hero lurking. And I don't think it's a coincidence. The genesis of this look in the first place was definitely a rebellion against contemporary tailoring at that time. A lot of the models were like a lot more fuller and almost muscular. The avatar then was very masculine and would even be considered large for today's standards. And then you look at Hedi Slimane's approach to the modern fashionable man, you'll see very unrealistic and almost impossible proportions that are further exaggerated through his design language. You know, and all of it being very deliberate and inherently rebellious. It's like kind of one of the last big changes in contemporary tailoring. Over time, popular fashion took inspiration from this, obviously, and kind of neutralized it and made it accessible to the point of it being kind of played out, kind of watered down. This spread right here, just like making it accessible to the regular guy. It's kind of the antithesis to Hedi Slimane's vision in the first place. You know, there's nothing more tasteless than inclusion, guys. We gotta close the door. Or, you know, leave the door just a little open. So if you're too big, you can't get in. Literally. I hate that shit when it's one size fits all, because one size should not fit all. We should be keeping these motherfuckers out, you know? And with that Times format being kind of this watered down karaoke version of the Hedi Slimane dream, this former anti-hero started losing its edge. As, you know, seeing this kind of get paired in with this, you know, it's not a good look. I hate being in the same room as this guy, you know? Like, stop comparing me to this motherfucker right here. We need to start leaving people out. It's ironic because I really wanted to look like that and I couldn't, and I was part of the problem. But we're not gonna make that mistake again. But now, fast forwarding to today's flavor of the month being what it is, you can see how Hedi Slimane's avatar contrasts itself as a style rebellion once again. You know, last year there was a whole meme centered around how skinny jeans is like the worst thing a guy could wear.
What is your fashion red flag?
Skinny jeans.
Skinny biker jeans.
What is an unpopular fashion opinion you guys have?
I think like skinny jeans are starting to get into. Oh no.
It's funny, a lot of people say skinny jeans.
Skinny jeans.
Oh, skinny jeans? Yeah.
Skinny jeans.
So what? You don't like skinny jeans?
And how it was everyone's fashion red flag. How it's impossible to look good in skinny jeans, with the exception of wisdom or something, you know? And with the nature of trends being a way for everyone to stand out against the grain, and how there are only really two types of guys in this world, Gokus and Vegetas, it only makes sense that the Vegeta this time, you know, this completely makes sense right here. The obvious first step for this type of guy is to find glory in that of which is most hated. And what world can we build around skinny jeans? It's not me, it's you. I, just as much as any, maybe even more than most people, understand the idea of picking something out of spite. You know, I think just like there are Gokus and Vegetas out there, I feel like some people, they're just wired to find off-meta picks cooler. I like the remixes of things. Not that it's advantageous or beneficial, you know, it's just kind of a bias. Actually, the more I think about it, this mindset, kind of stupid. You're just kind of setting yourself up for a harder, like when there's escalators, but you take the stairs. I can't stop though. I like the wired headphones. You know, it's not that I can't set up a shotgun mic or a boom mic or even one of those clip-on mics. I like holding this mic. It's definitely more of an annoying thing to set up, but also I think it's pretty fucking obvious that a lot of what makes this look interesting is not just the absolutely contrarian styling and proportion, but also kind of the insane frame that you need to wear everything. You know, like the idea, you know that saying that abs are made in the kitchen? So are Hedi boys, man. Like, this is not made on Grailed, which now, again, going back to today's flavor of the month with acceptance and inclusion, having such an emphasis in today's fashion rhetoric, it only makes sense that the anti-hero of this all be arguably the most exclusive wardrobe concept, both visually and quite frankly, financially. And personally, I'm just gonna take it, you know what? Fuck it. I honestly don't even really give a shit about either of these. Okay, you know what? Goku and Vegeta. I lied. There are three types of guys. There are guys that like Goku, there are guys that like Vegeta, and there are motherfuckers that like Trunks. Trunks really f***ed my whole shit up. When I was a kid, when I saw Trunks for the first time, I was like, damn, dude, I think I like this character too much, but not in the same way that I like Goku or Vegeta. It's kind of in a weird way, where I'm like, damn, like, not only do I want to be him, do I want to be with him? Like, what the f*** is going on? I've been wearing NPC hoodies and NPC shirts all month. I haven't shaved. But I smell great. I don't care, man. In a war of insufferable personalities, we're gonna go back and forth between like, you gotta be this, you gotta be that, you gotta be this. Trunks traveled in time. And also, the only real guy to bring a knife to a fist fight. How did no one ever think about that? Anyways, the secret third option, if you're a Trunks guy, and I just awaken something in you with my cute little anecdote as a kid being like, dude, why the fuck I like this guy way too much and I think he's way too cool, but in a kind of a weird way. If you're like that, and you're on my side with this, and okay, I'm talking way too much about that. Raise.online, if you understand the plight of being a Trunks guy, join the fucking club. Grab yourself an NPC hoodie. Look at this. Engineered to disassociate, turn your brain off, and go on walks. It's fucking nice outside.